A new leak reveals a secret, in-development Sony project, which appears to be a sci-fi RPG developed via Unreal Engine 5. This isn't, as some may hope, Cory Barlog's project at Sony Santa Monica, but something worked on by Sony's dev, external development, branch and potentially another studio, if not more. In short, it is third-party studios working on an exclusive new IP for Sony. As it stands, of course, very little is known about this supposed sci-fi RPG, and it does appear to be a concrete thing. That said, an early concept video of the game did appear on Icon Era, and while it is indeed early, it would be interesting to see this truly manifest. Unfortunately, I cannot share the leaked video here for copyright strike reasons. The video doesn't show much, just a character in third-person gameplay. There was also a monster climbing out of a tower, but as of now, most videos online of this project has been pulled. This could lend some credibility to this new PlayStation rumor, especially if they were DMCA'd by Sony, but that's uncertain at this time. Meanwhile, the clips and other visuals associated with this leak look incredibly rough, again because this video shows a project in its earliest concepts. It is supposedly going to be an Unreal Engine 5 game, which would mean that this video is likely something being worked on now and is, at the very least, a few years away. It could be that these videos are, in fact, older than one might think, especially because the original poster claims that there will be more leaks about the game throughout this year. More specifically, it has also been claimed that this game, whatever it is, has made serious progress in voice acting, if that's not already done. This comes from Dusk Golem, who in the past has leaked various things related to horror games. There are certainly some Lovecraftian vibes for this game, so it fits into their wheelhouse too. Known insider ModeEyes also did some sleuthing and may have more compelling evidence about this game. ModeEyes found that this project seems to be called Red, as blurred in the screenshot on the original source. Which is also the codename for a People Can Fly project listed in one of the company's financial reports. It was in the concept phase, as of that September 2021 report, so it's hard to say how far along it truly is now, but it could support claims of more leaks coming regarding it. Similar in nature and format to the GTA 6 leak and Horizon Forbidden West's own leaked alpha footage. The untitled Ooze game appears to be an over-the-shoulder shooter with mind-bogglingly massive enemies. Having initially leaked via Icon Era, popular leaker Dusk Golem subsequently commented on the Unreal Engine 5 Ooze game leak by adding more context. Namely, Dusk Golem claims that this sci-fi ARPG is already way further along in the development pipeline than the leaked footage may imply, and that it is already fully voice-acted by now. Further, Dusk Golem has also said that he had seen way more footage of the Ooze game than was shown in Icon Era's leak and that he is looking forward to the developers showing it off in proper form. While it's been implied that Sony may be working on AR games in the background, its primary focus clearly still lies in producing high-end AAA experiences for the PlayStation. And it's possible, if not likely, that the newly leaked game will be used as a headliner in this respect, given its use of Unreal Engine 5 and the interesting-looking creature shown off in the leak. Either way, there's still a lot to be said about this current project. If it is a few years away, it doesn't take much to surmise that it'll be a PS5 exclusive either, which is no longer as concerning for the public as it once was. Sony's Jim Ryan has, more or less, deemed that the PS5 console shortage is over, as these are much easier to get nowadays than they've been for a while. Therefore, if this sci-fi RPG lives up to the same level of quality as other Sony exclusives, fans shouldn't have much trouble getting the console it'll likely play on. Naughty Dog's Neil Druckmann reflects on the 10th anniversary of The Last of Us, provides an update on the upcoming multiplayer title, and teases the future of the franchise. It's been a good couple of years for Naughty Dog and its Last of Us franchise. Naughty Dog then followed that up with a remake of the 2013 game for the PS5 and soon on the PC. While some questioned whether or not another version of the first game needed to be remade so soon, the move has helped keep the franchise relevant alongside the upcoming release of The Last of Us TV series on HBO, which stars Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey in the two lead roles. 2023 appears to be another big year for Naughty Dog, who took a moment to reflect on the 10th anniversary of the popular franchise. Co-president of Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann, posted a new blog on the company's website offering a look back at The Last of Us, while also looked ahead to what he calls a milestone year. While the franchise turns 10 in June, Druckmann went on to thank fans for their support of the series and shared that it has sold more than 37 million copies globally as of December 2022. He also touched on the upcoming HBO series and revealed that over the course of the show's season, they'll have an inside look at the franchise and what went on behind the scenes to bring these characters and the world to life. The blog also touched on some of the things fans can expect during the 10th anniversary of The Last of Us. While the company seems to have plans specifically set for June along with some fun surprises, the big reveal here is that more details are coming later this year on the upcoming Last of Us multiplayer game. Druckmann confirmed that the title is being led by Vineet Agarwal, Joe Pedinati, and Anthony Newman, and even shared a new piece of concept art for the project that has been called a fresh and new experience. I don't think this concept art promotion is satisfying at all. HBO has invested a lot in The Last of Us TV series, and with Neil Druckmann himself involved with its development, it stands a good shot at being one of the better, more faithful game adaptations to date. Many Last of Us fans are eagerly anticipating the HBO series, but others are more interested in playing new Last of Us video games. A Last of Us 3 has not been announced in an official capacity, but a recent comment by Druckmann has hinted that the game is in development. While speaking to The Hollywood Reporter, Druckmann did not confirm Last of Us 3, but he did say, "I think there's more story to tell." This seems to be a hint that Last of Us 3 could be on the way, though it's also possible that he is referencing some other kind of Last of Us game. It's been said that the Last of Us multiplayer game will have a story of its own, so it is possible that he was referencing that, though it seems unlikely. Right now the focus is on the Last of Us multiplayer game, of course, and there are rumors that the studio has some other project waiting in the wings as well. But Last of Us 3 would potentially be the next release after those games hit the market. Reliable leakers have said that The Last of Us 3 is in active development at Naughty Dog, and they already said that the script for the third game is already complete. But one would imagine that it will take years before fans see anything about it. In the meantime, fans can look forward to the premiere of the HBO series, more information on The Last of Us multiplayer game, and the eventual reveal on Naughty Dog's next single-player game. After years of frenzied speculation and eager anticipation, it appears that consumers may finally be able to get their hands on Apple's long-awaited AR/VR headset sometime in late 2023. News of the mysterious mixed reality headset's pending release comes just days following the announcement of a new HTC headset with AR functionality at CES 2023. Years before the Meta Quest 2 became the gateway to the world of VR gaming for millions of players worldwide, Apple had already announced plans to develop a mixed reality headset that would take the Cupertino company's experience in hardware and software design and apply it to the augmented and virtual reality market. As plans to release the device to consumers by 2019 failed to materialize, Meta Quest headsets began to dominate the consumer VR market, buoyed by the growing popularity of VR gaming. While companies like Magic Leap have attempted to bring AR to the mainstream with products like its Magic Leap 2, and Meta features AR functionality in marketing for the Quest Pro, no company has yet had success in releasing a mass-market AR device, a trend that Apple hopes to change. According to a new Bloomberg report, Apple is preparing to release its mixed reality headset to consumers in fall 2023. The high-performance Apple headset, reportedly powered by the same M1 chip found in the company's MacBook Pro laptops, is slated to launch with a custom-made operating system and a new app store for mixed reality apps. The Bloomberg report states that the mixed reality headset is set to be unveiled ahead of Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference in June, with a release date scheduled for later in the fall. According to the report, a small number of high-profile software developers have already received units for testing and have begun developing apps for the device. While the new headset is unlikely to have much to offer those interested in playing AAA VR games, given previous reports that the device will primarily focus on productivity apps and casual experiences, Apple's AR/VR device is sure to influence future headsets from the company's competitors. If Apple is able to release their mixed reality headset, reportedly named Reality Pro and running on Apple's proprietary Borealis OS, later this year, its arrival in the marketplace could spell trouble for companies like Meta as they rush to respond to the powerful new competition. In addition to the headset, Apple is also reportedly planning to update its Apple Store iPhone app with an in-store AR experience. The idea is that customers could point their phone's cameras at an item and see more details about pricing or specs on the screen. Apple tipped its interest in AR and VR through job listings back in 2014, with reported product launch plans shifting repeatedly over the past 6 years. For consumers disappointed with the often slow pace of advancement in AR and VR devices, Apple's entry into the market alongside new gaming headsets like Sony's PSVR 2 will likely be welcome news. But given Apple's long history of opposing open standards, which are just now being established and adopted by many AR and VR developers, a successful Apple headset could end up being a mixed blessing for gamers if it diverts development resources away from other platforms. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot publisher Bandai Namco Entertainment releases a new launch trailer for the Bardock Alone Against Fate DLC, which includes a tease that all but outright confirms rumors about DLC 5 being based on the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai arc. There's no release window for DLC 5. But with Dragon Ball Z Kakarot's Bardock DLC about to drop, fans will hopefully learn more in the coming weeks. January 2023 is a busy time for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which may be surprising since it officially turns 3 years old on January 16th. But, fans are getting the Bardock DLC alongside native PS5 and Xbox Series X versions of the game on January 13th. With PS5 owners set to get a next-gen update for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot soon, Xbox Series owners will be left waiting a little longer due to some technical issues. Bardock is the first DLC of 3 new ones associated with Season Pass 2, with rumors that more is set to come even after this DLC run ends. Either way, rumors cropped up online a few days ago that DLC 5 would be based on the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai arc, more commonly known as the Piccolo Jr. saga, and those rumors are basically confirmed. The new Dragon Ball Z Kakarot trailer fittingly focuses on DLC 4, but the last 10 seconds or so are dedicated to a silhouette that shows a figure with an umbrella. Next to it is a "coming soon," with little else to contextualize it. However, fans may know that this is a Goku outfit seen in the Piccolo Jr. saga, so the tease itself isn't even that subtle. Neither company has shared more yet, but they will hopefully do so sometime after the release of the Bardock DLC. At large, this saga covers Goku's training with Kami and the World Martial Arts Tournament against Piccolo Jr. as his reincarnation of King Piccolo, and follows the preceding King Piccolo saga. The next saga after this one is the Raditz saga, or where Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, as well as the anime and manga, officially begins. Furthermore, it features a couple of fun fights, such as Piccolo vs. Hero, and plot developments for Dragon Ball Z. For example, this is where Goku meets a grown Chi-Chi, not recognizing her at first, but eventually proposes to her to follow up on his promise. What's notable about this DLC is that it shows nothing is off the table for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot DLC. In other words, there's no real guessing what DLC 6 could be. It's doubtful that the game would go further back in Dragon Ball, but not altogether impossible. It's worth noting that there are also rumors that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot will get a similar DLC treatment to Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. As many fans know, the latter has received a constant influx of DLC since its release, so it stands to reason that Season Pass may second not be the last one for DBZ Kakarot. It does remain to be seen, of course, but there are plenty of story sagas not available yet in DBZ Kakarot. The developers of Street Fighter V reveal that the game originally had 6 seasons of DLC content planned before it ended up being cut down. While Capcom is currently gearing up for the release of Street Fighter VI next year, there was a lot of initial skepticism about the game after the release of the previous entry. Fans are aware of Street Fighter V's troubled production, where it had a very empty launch period and post-launch schedule for a couple of years. A lot of Street Fighter V's mistakes were discussed by current Street Fighter director Takayuki Nakayama, who had joined the project halfway through. In an interview with Game Informer, he confirmed that the bare-bones launch of the game was due to a number of features that were in development from the game's previous director, Yoshinori Ono, that were not finished in time for release. This resulted in the game undergoing a number of post-launch changes and course corrections, with Ono himself leaving Capcom in 2020. While a new post-launch plan was being created, there were some cuts before it was even finished. According to Nakayama, Street Fighter V was originally planned to have 6 seasons of DLC, but it resulted in plans changing in the middle. with management telling him and the development team they were only able to make up to Season 4. This resulted in Street Fighter V Champion Edition, which is considered the most complete and definitive version of the game, adding plenty to the title. While the game wasn't flawless, it was much better than the vanilla release in 2016. The much better reception to Champion Edition resulted in Capcom turning around again and announcing one final season for Street Fighter V, which added 5 new characters. Nakayama notes that the entire team structure and communication methods were shifting around for Season 5 as well, where they realized that direct communication with their player base was incredibly important. This successful turnaround for the 5th game resulted in Takayuki Nakayama and producer Shuhei Matsumoto being placed at the forefront of development for the next mainline entry. This all wraps back around to the upcoming Street Fighter VI, with work starting at the tail end of Street Fighter V's development in 2018. This resulted in Luke being SF5's final DLC character, though Nakayama didn't think of him as the final character, but rather a guest character from the future instead. He noted that there was some nervousness when they were revealing him, as they wanted to present him properly. While fans might be sad to hear that SF5 ultimately ended up being shortchanged in the end, the future of the series is looking quite bright too with the 6th game. Marvel, at one point, nearly had a fighting game in the vein of the Super Smash Bros. Series on its hands. The Marvel world and characters seem ripe for such an expansive crossover, as its heroes are frequently present in crossover media, and they possess a host of wild powers perfect for a brawl. Though development eventually steered away from the Super Smash Bros. Formula, the idea of what could have been is still an intriguing one to ponder. When the original Super Smash Bros. Was released, it shook up the fighting game scene and left a mark on gaming in general. It took the most popular characters from a much-loved company and put them together, providing its audience with a potent dose of fan service. Pair that with tight, clean gameplay and a superb multiplayer experience, and it's no wonder the series has enraptured the gaming world so effectively. Marvel, apparently, is no exception. Now known for the likes of Marvel Ultimate Alliance and the card combat strategy of Marvel's Midnight Suns, the company released Marvel's Superhero Squad back in 2009. Just 1 year after Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Subject to the fervor those games commanded, the DS version of Marvel's Superhero Squad nearly became a take on the iconic Fighters formula. However, according to developer Luke Muscat, who worked on the game, due to a variety of obligations and constraints, the game ended up releasing in a different form. In a video, Muscat describes how, initially, the game was to be a street brawler, like the classic collection of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles games. Developer Half-Brick eventually got word from publisher THQ that they would be changing tack, aiming for something closer to a Super Smash Bros. Game, and much of the work was thrown out. When the game was around half done, Half-Brick was contacted again with news of a major mistake. The contract THQ had signed required the game to be a street brawler, and apparently, the company had simply missed that point. Forced to throw out months of work once again, Half-Brick scrambled at the last minute to slap together what it could, but in the end, the game was a complete hot mess. In the same video, Muscat describes his experience working on an Avatar: The Last Airbender video game that was also subject to major disruption from its publisher. The common threads here are twofold: licensed games and publisher interference. Licensed games often lack a lot of innovation or polish, and publisher demands are often cited as development roadblocks, but it's great to get some clarity on the reasons why directly from a developer. However, Muscat closes the video on a third horror story that was neither a licensed game nor was it receiving publisher pushback. Perhaps the lesson is that, no matter what, game development is a veritable minefield of challenges. In a surprising announcement, IO Interactive has revealed that the beloved Hitman trilogy will be combined into one game. The announcement was made earlier via the IO Interactive's official site blog, which will ring in the next evolution for the Hitman series. As one of the best stealth games on the market, Hitman has evolved drastically since being released a little over 20 years ago. Since the beginning of the franchise in 2000, there have been a variety of sequels and even 2 major film adaptations. However, the series got a welcome revival with the soft reboot of the series in 2016. Since then, there have been 2 follow-ups, Hitman 2 and Hitman 3, which contain an extensive amount of DLC content. However, it appears that now fans of the franchise will only have to worry about owning 1 game instead of 3. In a blog post on its official website, IO Interactive made an announcement stating that Hitman 3 would be rebranded as Hitman World of Assassination starting January 26 of this year, combining all 3 games into one. With this rebranding, players of Hitman 3 will receive free access to both Hitman 2 and the first Hitman. In addition, players who already own Hitman 3 will get a free upgrade to World of Assassination. With the high replay value of the Hitman franchise, combining the 3 games into one product will create hours of content for many players to enjoy. IO Interactive stated in the blog post that it aims to make the purchasing experience as simple as possible for players. Within one game there will be 21 unique maps which will provide many players a look into the intriguing world of Hitman who may have not yet been able to play all the trilogy's locations. But will also allow veteran players to experience all destinations in one game. Hitman World of Assassination will be priced at $70 while there is also a deluxe pack with extra content that will cost an additional $30. There's no doubt that Hitman's Agent 47 is one of gaming's most fun characters to play due to getting the opportunity to step inside an assassin's shoes. The franchise that IO Interactive has created gives players the choice to be stealthy with their actions or even downright chaotic. But the world it has brought to life through the years is something that has kept many fans coming back to the series. Being able to play all 3 entries of the trilogy in one game will create a fantastic opportunity for many to get a free upgrade and content thanks to this exciting move from the developer. Hitman 3 developers IO Interactive have released a cinematic trailer for the upcoming Freelancer update. The free Hitman 3 game mode is set to release on January 26, and the video offers more narrative insight into how it will play. The Freelancer game mode for Hitman 3 was initially announced in early 2022, with a spring release date. Regretfully, the mode had been pushed back to an undisclosed time, and only recently more Hitman 3 Freelancer details were revealed. Now that the date is confirmed and drawing ever closer, fans are eager to start playing the roguelite game mode. IO Interactive has now released a cinematic trailer to help bolster the building hype. The stylish trailer offers a sneak peek into the world of international crime syndicates and how they are using social profiling to recruit criminals. Voiced by Agent 47's handler, Diana Benwood, the trailer is set like a pre-mission briefing replete with the high-quality writing that is synonymous with the recent Hitman trilogy. Diana explains how the structure of the crime syndicates will be difficult to unravel due to their recruiting systems and how the crimes may be set to help their riches, radical belief, or twisted pleasure. Agent 47 is set to track down the syndicates by starting with low-level members and working his way up to the top in a way reminiscent of Crackdown or Shadow of Mordor. Given that the Hitman trilogy is set to rebrand as a single package, Freelancer will have a lot of room for variety across the plethora of maps. After Hitman Absolution experimented with changing the core Hitman experience to mixed reception in 2012, the concept of changing gameplay in the franchise has been met with some trepidation. Absolution did however offer the Contracts game mode, which saw players creating their own custom objectives for any of the maps in the base game and sharing them with other players online. This game mode continues to be a feature in the World of Assassination trilogy and is quite popular. The game mode is as important as the many Easter eggs in the Hitman trilogy for creating the overall atmosphere of the franchise. Its success reinforces the idea of freeform gameplay being viable in the series. Even the World of Assassination trilogy was met with some apprehension as it was initially released episodically. While each episode offered a lot of variation, tight gameplay, and hours of content, the trilogy found a better response when released as a complete package. If all goes well, Freelancer may keep the World of Assassination relevant for a long time to come. Chinese tech and media company NetEase has officially bought Skybox Labs, a developer based in Canada. At a time when acquisitions are becoming more commonplace in the gaming industry, NetEase also appears to be following a similar strategy as the gaming giant adds the co-developer of Halo Infinite to its portfolio. While most may be familiar with Skybox Labs for its work on Halo Infinite, the studio has also worked on other titles such as Minecraft and Fallout 76. NetEase, on the other hand, is no stranger to notable projects, having partnered with the likes of Marvel and Pokémon for multiple games in the past. The company has even joined hands with Bungie for a new IP. With the Skybox acquisition, NetEase may be gearing up for a more ambitious play. The company officially announced the news on January 6, stating that its gaming division NetEase Games has acquired the Canadian studio. The announcement further mentioned that the Fallout 76 co-developer would continue to operate independently under NetEase Games' leadership, where NetEase will offer resources to help Skybox scale its work faster. As Skybox Labs co-founder Shiyong Kong puts it, by joining NetEase, his company will be able to accelerate plans to explore new creative opportunities, as well as enjoy access to world-class operational resources and the full breadth and depth of NetEase's services to help the studio scale faster in Canada. Of course, this isn't the first acquisition for the Chinese company. Back in 2021, NetEase acquired No More Heroes and the Silver Case developer Grasshopper manufacturer. The following year, NetEase bought Quantic Dream, the French studio behind Heavy Rain and the upcoming Star Wars Eclipse. The company had previously bought a minority stake in Quantic Dream back in 2019. As of now, it's unclear if NetEase is eyeing more studios to bring under its arm. But it wouldn't be surprising to hear of another similar announcement, considering NetEase's recent trajectory. But not everything has been all acquisitions and high-profile hires for the Chinese company. Recently, Riot Games sued NetEase in the UK as well as in other countries such as Germany, Brazil, and Singapore over allegations that its Hyperfront game is a copy of Riot's Valorant. Though it will be quite a while to expect any outcome, considering how challenging it is to prove copyright infringement. Regardless, it's shaping up to be an interesting road ahead for NetEase, particularly amid the current gaming landscape. A producer at the studio behind the long-dormant movie adaptation of Tom Clancy's The Division recently gave an update on the project, and it's not very encouraging. Fans of the popular post-apocalyptic live service third-person shooter were extremely excited when Ubisoft announced in 2016 that a film based on The Division was in development. Since then, however, details have been hard to come by, and many people have even forgotten that a movie was ever in the works. The project was set to star Jake Gyllenhaal, who already established a penchant for video game film adaptations with his leading role in 2010's Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Jessica Chastain was also announced as being on board, and the Division movie was going to launch on Netflix, though it was never clear exactly when. Another exciting announcement came in 2018 when it was revealed that the Division movie would be directed by David Leitch of 87 North Productions, who worked on Deadpool 2 and Atomic Blonde. However, studio co-founder Kelly McCormick gave an update on the project in an interview with Discussing Film on December 15. Essentially, the film adaptation is on indefinite hold due to the COVID-19 pandemic. McCormick shared that, initially, the prospect of creating a movie version of The Division was really amazing because there's a lot that could be done with a team of special agents who are sent in to save a devastated city. However, after the coronavirus outbreak, the producer admitted that the idea began to feel more like a documentary and was no longer fun. Recounting the real-time story of a virus and the anxiety created as it spreads ventured too close to true events, and so the movie studio got moved away by COVID. McCormick summarized by stating that the Division movie project is currently on the back burner. In 2021, there had been talk about perhaps rewriting the script, but that doesn't seem to have progressed since. The first game in the Division series tells the story of an engineered virus known as the $flu that is unleashed on Manhattan and decimates the population. The survivors are left to scrounge for themselves, with occasional airdrops of resources sent in from the mainland. However, a number of rival gangs soon rise up to compete for domination and control of supplies, and a sleeper cell of specially trained agents known only as the Division is sent in to restore order. Unwelcome as the update will be for fans of the iconic franchise, it is understandable why it was deemed a good idea to move away from the movie adaptation, at least for the time being. Sony has just confirmed that 10 games are coming to PlayStation Plus Extra in January 2023. PS Plus Extra and Premium members get access to new titles each month in addition to the free games available to users in the Essential tier. While PS Plus Premium subscribers can advantage of more features, like the ability to download time-limited trials of games at no extra cost. The main catalog featuring hundreds of titles is available to both Extra and Premium. The free monthly PS Plus games for January 2023 are live, as subscribers can play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Axiom Verge 2, and Fallout 76 at no extra cost. This gives users a great opportunity to play Fallen Order before its sequel comes out in March. Now, Sony has revealed that 10 games are coming to the PS Plus Extra lineup later in January. Sony confirms that PlayStation Plus Extra will add back 4 Blood, Dragon Ball FighterZ, Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, Life is Strange Before the Storm, Life is Strange, Sayonara Wild Hearts, Jet the Far Shore, Just Cause 4 Reloaded, Omno, and Erica later this month. All of these games will be available to Extra members starting January 17th, with more titles coming to PS Plus Premium on the same day. It looks like a solid month for PS Plus Extra, with Back 4 Blood and Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition probably being the biggest games on the list. Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition comes with some extra features on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, including support for ray tracing and a high frame rate mode for 120 FPS. Members should note that the PS4 version of Devil May Cry 5 will also be included in PS Plus Extra alongside the PS5 edition of the game. PlayStation Plus Extra users already received one game in 2023, as WWE 2K22 was added to the lineup on January 3rd. However, only the PS4 version of WWE 2K22 was available as a part of the service, so PS5 owners had to make do with the last-gen edition of the game. Sony has announced 3 games that are coming to the PlayStation's Plus Premium service starting Tuesday, January 17th. PlayStation Plus Premium is the priciest version of PS Plus available, and its main draw is that it gives subscribers access to retro games. A common criticism aimed at PS Plus Premium is that it doesn't have enough PS2 and PSP representation, and unfortunately, it seems that trend will continue with the games being added in January 2023. On January 17th, PS Plus Premium subscribers can check out Hot Shots Golf 2, Star Wars Demolition, and Siphon Filter 3, all of which were originally released for the PlayStation 1. No games from Sony's other legacy platforms are being added in the PS Plus Premium January 2023 update, which will be disappointing news for those holding out for more PSP, PS2, and PS3 games. These games are all getting some significant enhancements when they're added to PS Plus Premium, with subscribers able to take advantage of new rewind and quick save features while they enjoy the upscaled graphics and custom video filter options. For those unfamiliar with the new PS Plus Premium games for January 2023, Hot Shots Golf 2 is a golf game known as Everybody's Golf 2 elsewhere in the world. Like many other entries in its franchise, Hot Shots Golf 2 earned mostly positive reviews at the time of its release, so it should make for a solid new sports game addition to the PS Plus Premium lineup. Star Wars Demolition, meanwhile, is a vehicle combat game set in the Star Wars universe. Siphon Filter 3 is probably the headliner when it comes to the new PS Plus Premium games for January 2023, even though it too earned mixed reviews. Siphon Filter 3 was one of the last major first-party PlayStation 1 games released before Sony shifted its focus to the PS2. It didn't earn nearly the same amount of praise as its predecessors, but it will still be nice for PS Plus Premium subscribers to get to play the entire original Siphon Filter trilogy with their subscription. Following several rumors and reports, Xbox and Bethesda officially announce an upcoming developer direct for January 25th at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, while explaining Starfield won't be there. That's because, to give it its proper due, Xbox and Bethesda are currently putting together a standalone showcase for a deep dive into Starfield's gameplay. Many were quick to take note that Microsoft did not reveal any new games or even show any real trailers at the Game Awards 2022. This led to some concerns about Xbox's 2023 slate, though the Xbox marketing VP stated, at the time, that the company would show more soon. This week, that same exec teased a fun week for the Xbox brand, which was followed by reports of this showcase. Now, it has been officially confirmed. The developer director will give fans an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months, with the announcement outlining The Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. The language is pretty definitive in that these may be the only games in attendance. The Elder Scrolls Online studio director Matt Firer will reveal 2023's major chapter update, which includes new regions of Tamriel, as well as a new feature coming to the game. The developer director will be followed by a full ESO chapter reveal event. Forza Motorsport Turn 10 will share gameplay and some new details. Minecraft Legends Mojang will show new Minecraft Legends gameplay focused on the PvP multiplayer experience. Redfall Arcane will show several minutes of gameplay, including single and multiplayer, while also highlighting combat, customization, bosses, the open world, and more. The runtime for the upcoming Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct event has been announced as a total of 45 minutes. Though there may be a major improvement with this new format, the Redmond Company's events have never stood out for their dynamism, usually taking the form of developer interviews. This Direct may do the same, being a little slower than the Nintendo or PlayStation shows, but hopefully still bringing some enjoyable content for Xbox owners to get excited about. Xbox Wire post announcing the event, Microsoft has made it clear that the presentation will consist primarily of extended gameplay showcases rather than a barrage of new game reveals, which is a major disappointment for me. No release dates were mentioned for any of those games, but it makes sense that Xbox Game Studios and Bethesda will finally reveal them during the event, as this announcement reaffirms that Redfall, Forza Motorsport, and Minecraft Legends will launch in the coming months. Xbox Game Studios also has a long list of announced but mostly unaccounted for projects in the pipeline, including Avowed, Everwild, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, State of Decay 3, The Outer Wilds 2, and reboots of Fable and Perfect Dark. Xbox's fans may have to wait until E3 2023 or later for news about these games, though, as none of these games are included in the lineup for the first Developer Direct. Starfield continues to be one of the most anticipated games of the year. Due to launch in the first half of 2023, Starfield aims to embrace the mechanics of classic RPGs and lets players journey among the stars with as much agency as possible. Its story is meant to pose and answer philosophical questions about humanity's place in space, what's out there, and what's next. With a deep dive event to arrive sometime after the Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct livestream on January 25th, hopefully, more key elements will be revealed regarding Starfield. First and foremost, it would make the most sense to provide players with more gameplay footage. With comparisons being made to No Man's Sky following the gameplay trailer in June 2022, Starfield needs to show players what distinguishes this game from any other and why fans should play it. More gameplay mechanics should be shown in their footage, however, this time highlighting combat and exploration. Howard has mentioned that there are over 1,000 planets to explore in the game. Still, more information about the type of exploration that can occur should be highlighted. If many are barren and primarily used for resources, it may worry players that there won't be enough diversity regarding planet types and things to do. And while combat has been shown briefly for space and on foot, a more comprehensible dive into the types of weapons, defenses, mods, and technology may help further distinguish Starfield and its unique ideas. One element that caused excitement for Starfield was that players could design their spaceships from the ground up, with oversight into every detail from granular to large scale. Previously, players could see this with readings for hull, shield, cargo, crew, jump range, mobility, top speed, and mass for what appears to be the front cockpit of the ship, for example. Other parts, such as the engine, fuel tanks, landers, and reactors, are listed with corresponding readings relative to the part, such as fuel and energy. When customizing and building ships in Starfield, each piece can be bought or made with lists of manufacturers and corporations that sell the components and parts. It would be interesting to see a Starfield PvP mode for racing ships in contests, in-game sporting events, or arenas, to even at different players' outposts and settlements. Something of this caliber isn't impossible, as many No Man's Sky players build racetrack bases with base parts that accommodate the game's exocrafts. Horizon Forbidden West integrated the gauntlet races, where you could stun, hit, and trip enemies. This element could be introduced in less aggressive PvP modes, where destruction reigns higher, losing resources to those who defeated other players. It would make sense that the diversity of how and what players can build in terms of spaceships will lead to many creating unique profiles and designs. For example, it would be fun to see them put to the test for racing and combat against fellow Constellation explorers, or whichever Starfield faction they choose. If even those consequences and choices followed into multiplayer could create numerous different scenarios for role-playing. With varying systems of weapons, engines, shields, and drives that can be built, each faction may have its arsenal range that can't be obtained anywhere else, leading to more diversified ship makes. Bethesda claimed that there previously was a need to fuel the ships and that to capture the sense of realism, players could become stranded in space if they ran out. While removing this mechanic has made for a better gameplay experience, other details that involve what it means to pilot ships should be discussed. For example, players may wonder if they can build fighters, shuttles, haulers, and different variants for unique purposes. Lastly, with limited ship-to-ship combat shown, a deep dive into how space combat, physics, and ship mechanics work and if it would change for different enemy types. While Starfield hasn't officially been listed as a single-player RPG, in 2020, Howard stated that despite learning from The Elder Scrolls Online and Fallout 76, Starfield would be single-player. However, no further statements have been made in the last 2 years, keeping the question relevant albeit smaller. Bethesda's former RPGs have been single-player, but with the scope for Starfield being as wide as it is, with so many planets and space to explore. Fans wonder if multiplayer mode or individual game may come. Starfield was initially scheduled for November 2022 before being postponed to the first half of 2023, where it's remained. Starfield and Redfall may set up Xbox for greatness or disappointment in 2023, and it seems that the former will release after the latter. Additional reports have indicated Redfall may target an early May release, but fans will most likely get confirmation of this at the Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct livestream on January 25, 2023. Pre-order information may become available, including what comes in Standard, Deluxe, and Collector's editions. Starfield is not only the first new IP for Bethesda in 25 years, but it also promises to be a deep, meaningful experience for players to ponder their story and the story of humanity in the stars, exploring what comes next and what's out there. It's certainly ambitious, and so is Bethesda's pride in the game. So it makes sense to see a collector's edition with a hefty collectible as something unique for its fans and supporters. And that's all for the video, guys. Like and share the video for a greater audience. Comment your thoughts on the topics, and donations are always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, and until then, from SMPV, it's goodbye.